I'm here in Amsterdam. This is where I live in the Netherlands. This is a new part of my life where I became an adult who understands life. In this video, I want to talk about loneliness. I really want to talk about loneliness. Some people around me, they say that I'm very good in handling being alone. That I have no problem with it. I don't know if they are right in saying that to me, that I'm good handling loneliness. I learned to survive. The last 38 years, the Dutch government have been really brutal to me. I'm really surviving the system where things are really brutal. I was 9 years old when I was kidnapped. 8 years old. I was 8, but in that month, I just became 9. So I was, between the time I was kidnapped, I was 8, and between the time I was kidnapped, I was 9. So today I read in the news that a woman, she won the case against the Dutch government. She was adopted by illegal adoption from Sri Lanka. I was following the case with everything I could, just keep following the news, what they are writing. And the judge, they made her lose the case because they say the time passed. So, and then the High Court of the Netherlands said, no way, we are not accepting the time frame. You did her wrong, so you need to pay her damage. And so today I heard, and I called my lawyer right away. I said, it's good news, because my case, I have much more proof against the Dutch government about the abuse that they did to me. One of the biggest abuse that they did to me is that they never listened. They never made me feel comfortable to talk to them, you know. There was no space for me that I can say, listen, Michael Jackson is my father and a crime has been done to me. I did not know my father is a huge star. I was raised that my father told me he was just a police guy in America. And I was very proud with my dad being a police guy in America and working in the army, you know, doing secret things. But then I was kidnapped, and then I found out that my father is one of the biggest artists in the world. I knew I couldn't say that because the child protection was so horrible to me since the moment I came here. They didn't listen to anyone. Within 2 years, the Dutch government knew that I was older than my papers say. And all they tried to do was hide it. hide it. Oh, God. So they did nothing in the papers to change it straight away and start talking to me at the age that I am, you know. So within 2 years, they already knew that I was older than my papers were saying, because when I was kidnapped, they made my age 3 years younger. So no one came to me from the child protection say, hey, Mocienne, we find out that you are not, how old was I then? 11, that you are not 9 years old, but you are 11. No, not 8 years. No, let me count. So I was kidnapped when I was 9, 10, 11. Okay. I was 11, but in papers, I was 8 years old. So no one came to me and said, hey, Mocienne, we found out that you are older than the papers say. What do you remember of your childhood? The child protection never started the conversation with me, asking me what happened, asking me what was going on. And so there was no fate, nothing that I could do to say to them, listen, my father, yeah, is Michael Jackson. I mean, I was 11 years old. I understood if I say that, they will put me in a mental house. They will say this child is crazy, saying Michael Jackson is her father, and that she was kidnapped. They had totally no interest to listen to me in any way. So I really suffered. I heard my father said in the new Michael Jackson, he felt he was the most lonely man in the world. Even he had all his fans. He was so lonely. And that was the same with me. Even I had all these people around me, I felt the most lonelier person in the world. And I was fighting. I mean, my father was fighting for his mentally lost. And my father, Michael Jackson, he abused himself with his face. He had the burn in his head. That's why I really knew 100% he was my father. And Diana Ross performing in New York, Center Park, that was also for me the proof that I really knew my story was right. I was there. She was my aunt. I knew she was famous. When I was in the adoption family, I wrote a letter one time to Diana Ross. But of course, they have never sent my letter to Diana Ross. They wrote it with me, and I didn't say, "Hi, Diana, you are my auntie. I'm kidnapped." I didn't say that. I just sent her a fan letter with my name Mocienne on it, but they never sent it, of course. And I never told my adopted parents that Michael Jackson was my father. I never told them that Diana Ross was my aunt. No, I keep it all for myself because they were the mafia. They were absolutely the mafia, and they knew exactly what was going on. And they were not going to hear it on my mouth so that it can give me more problem. While I was being raped, abused, child protection did nothing, absolutely nothing. Even they knew that my age was 3 years older, and not 3 years younger as it was written by people. They did nothing. They did nothing. Nothing they did. They did nothing to change my date. And the lawyers in the Netherlands, they really tried to fight for me, to take away this injustice that was doing to me. But they were all being blocked by government institute. So I lived a very lonely life the last 38 years fighting the government. And I learned to deal with it. I really learned to deal with it. And so that I'm being ignored, that I'm saying Michael Jackson is my father. I had to learn to live with that for 38 years, protecting that secret, Michael Jackson is my father, because I didn't want to become in a mental health institute because of my belief. And I really like to make jokes about Michael Jackson being my secret father. So sometimes I ask my neighbors, "And are you going to call the mental house saying that every morning I'm doing the moonwalk?" And then my neighbors really have to laugh about it. When I had this problem with the child protection around my son, I was thinking, what do you want? I mean, the father of my child, he really abused the fact and knowing the trust that I had with him. That if he tell me, where do I come from? I mean, you have a relationship with each other for 4 years, and then you get a child together. So I was so honest to tell my father of my child for the first time that Michael Jackson is my father. And he wasn't surprised at all. He was going to search. He went to search for photos of Michael Jackson, and he recognized Michael Jackson in me. I have the same feet as my father. My feet and my hands are the same as my father, and my chin same as my father. So there are things in my face that are the same as my father, Michael Jackson. So as my relationship, he could see it, that indeed Michael Jackson was my dad. So when he couldn't win me back, he started to use all this kind of information to make me look crazy with the same child protection that have disappointed me all my life. And I really, really suffered. And I was very lonely in that process. I was very, very, very lonely. But I hang on because I believe in life. I believe in God. I believe in Allah. I believe in every gods in the world, in Buddha, Jesus. I believe it all. So I was really believing, this is my life story, and it's up to me to make the best of it what I can. But it was very lonely. It was very lonely and very hurtful. I've been alone here for a very long time in this space. So when the world media find out that I was saying that Michael Jackson was my father, it was absolutely destroying my life to go to court. But I knew if I didn't claim my inheritance on time, that I couldn't get justice. So at the Supreme Court of America, they were Superior Court, they were so nice to me. They said, "Are you ready?" "I'm ready." And then file the papers, and then the world media find out. And I hope that the world media will keep me alive when they really find out that the Jackson have been playing with him for 46 years old, 46 years long, because that's how old I am, and plus 9 months. And so being lonely, some people said, "Oh, Mocienne, you're so good in being lonely." I think that's a part of my life, and a part that I have accepted in my life. And I just want the world to know that it's not easy. It's really not easy, the life I've been living. And the government have been fundamental, trying to destroy me since the day I was adopted, kidnapped in the Netherlands. And the silence, I've been silent since my youth. So talking about my father, Michael Jackson, freely, I have never done this before. This is really the first time I'm really publicly sharing my life with things. And what I am grateful is that I have more stories than only the years that I was a child. I was lucky enough to also get to know my father as an adult, so I always have problem counting between a separation between my father and me. And I believe we were separated for 17 years. We were separated. So I believe after 17 years or 18 years, my father came back into my life. And how many years was that? Oh, I'm so bad in counting. I think I still had another 10 years before my father died. Please let me count. 2001, let me count, I'm going to count. 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 years. I had another 8 years with my father as an adult. And I have expressed every anger, every love, every hate, you know, to my father. And I said, God, how could you do this to me? You are the king of dolls, king of pop. You know, my whole life people have been telling me I'm crazy, thinking you are mine, you are my father. I did not know you were a part of Jackson 5. I didn't know you were an artist. You raised me that you were just a police guy in America. How dare you? I bleep, 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 hate you. You damn you. I have expressed everything to my father. I have yelled, I have screamed. I have hung up the phone on him. I did it. I have cursed him. And all the time I was doing that, my father was listening. He didn't hang up the phone on me, you know. He didn't. And when I was ready to make a new time with my father, he was murdered. He was murdered. So in total, I spent 16 years of my life with my father, Michael Jackson. And he was phenomenal. Thriller Betrayal, my book, is so memorial to my dad. And I'm so proud with the book. Even in the future or now, nobody wants to read my book. I'm so proud with my memorial to my father. You know, sometimes I talk to Amazon people and Kobo people, and they really make me feel that I should be proud with my work. And but now that I'm talking about it on my YouTube, I feel like, whoa, I did it. I wrote this book memorial for my father. I feel like, well, I did a good job. And because I'm really being honest about my father. And in the beginning, I felt like, you know what? I wrote this book. People can write this book. People can read this book if they want. I translated, and people can make their own judgment what they want about me. I don't care, but I want my story just to be there. And now I'm like, no way. You're going to buy my book. You're going to read my book, and we are going to talk about it. That's what I want now. So the way that this YouTube channel make me change, I think I want response. You know, I want response. It's for me. It's not about you buy my book and then you make your own opinion. No, you buy my book and you give me your opinion. You know, because I want to hear what you think of this amazing human being, Michael Jackson, who have raised a child in an extremely difficult situation without any support of his family. And this child went through hell and survived it. And as child protection, I'm going to expose them, how bad they are. This is why I wrote my book, Thriller, The Dark Side of Netherlands. Thriller, The Dark Side of Netherlands is a book that I want 70 million people in the Netherlands to read. You know, so that they know how the child protection works. So there can be another generation who doesn't have to suffer under such a bad organization of the Dutch government and America. America have done a horrible job not finding me, kidnapped children. And there's also what I want to talk. I want to talk about detective in my life. My father, Michael Jackson, have paid so much money for detective to find me, and they did, and they betrayed him. They were murdered. They were killed. They are brave people. Detective people are really brave people. My respect. My mother is a good liar. I hired a private detective, and then she really fucked him up. Like, no, Mocienne, that woman's great. She's not my daughter, but he did a great job because he let me know where she was. He was a very nice guy, but my mother's a good liar. That's why she's a bitch. She's really a bitch. I don't need to. I never want to see that woman again. So she can live her life peacefully, be happy with her other children. Fine by me. I'm happy living without her. But the detective, he was good. He was really good. The most of my money that I have earned, spend it on private detective because I wanted to find things. Mental health is very important. And when I found out Michael Jackson was my father, I was very small. There was nobody that mentally helped me to deal with it. The kidnapping, no one. There was no one. I had to survive it. Just survive it. It was like, Mocienne, don't complain, just survive it. Survive it. And I did survive it. Very happy I survived it. I hope you have enjoyed my surrounding where I am. I've been using my stick for the first time, and so someone that I know, she said to me that I should give that I should go and give talk how children who have difficult time, how I can share my experience with them and teach them how they need to be stronger. And she said to me that I should do that, but I'm not going to do that. I don't want my life to be around negativity of my past. Writing this book, Truly Betrayal, was really hard for me because I have to share my life. And I'm so young. Some people around me, they say, your autobiography book is never going to sell because you are too young to have an autobiography. So, Mocienne, no, you can forget it. Nobody's going to sell your book. So some publishers, they really try to let my book only be about Michael Jackson, that I wasn't important, that I survived kidnapping, that I was raped, that the Dutch government abused me for many years. That wasn't important. What was important is that the Jackson family hid me away. Michael Jackson had a secret daughter, and who the daughter wasn't interested for them. And that's the reason I decided to publish my own book, because so many publishers were so disrespectful about my life and my surviving. They only wanted to. So I said to them, you know what, you go and write your own book about Michael Jackson having a secret daughter and how he handled it. But you know what, this secret daughter of me, I'm a real person. I breathe, I eat, I go to the toilet, I suffer, I go to pain, I have my problems everywhere. I'm a mom, and that's why I decided to publish my own book and do it so well as can. And my editor was amazing. My translations are amazing. So, and I'm hoping that my readers will be amazing. the people who would like to know more about my story. I hope they are amazing, incredible people that are open-minded and will do their own research. You know, I'm hoping that my books will be a lot of success. I'm planning to donate a lot of money from my books to Children International so that they can have a good life. So, yeah, that's what I want. I really have a goal. I'm walking back, going to walk back home. So I'm climbing now some kind of mountain a little bit from sand. That's why you hear me. Let me. It's 30 degrees here. It's very hot today. Gosh. But anyway, I've been very lonely in my life, and I survived so many things simply because I was loved. I was loved so much. I was loved, and I can go very deep in it and how I received my love that made me surviving my kidnapping, that made me have the power to fight the Dutch government in court about the injustice and unfairness they have done to me, and how the country as America have failed me, dropped me, ignored my existence. And I don't know how the Jackson did it, that they could have me, hide me away. I don't know. But I can tell you one thing, if you have a lot of money, you can do a lot of crimes where people probably never find out. So, and some people may say that what your father did, being a pedophile, my father, Michael Jackson, is not a pedophile. He was a victim of child abuse himself, and he survived it, and he did an amazing job. So I'm up on the hills. So look, I've put a couch there. So when you are up on the hill, you can sit there. Anyway, I'm happy that I'm still strong enough to do this court with the Dutch government, and that one person have already won the court, a young woman from Sri Lanka. Very proud with her achievement, and I cannot wait till I can share my victory with you all. I want to say thank you so much for being my YouTube followers. I appreciate it so much for the time you want to take to look at my video. I'm going to say goodbye to you now. So this was Mocienne Petit Jackson in my hometown, Soest. And this is Soestduinen. I really love this place. Really wanted to share with you. And being lonely, even you feel lonely, life have learned me you are never alone. There are always strangers that you may not know who are watching you, who are loving you, and who will be there for you. And because of that experience that I have, I survived it. I survived this crime that have been done to me, that give me the power to be in court with the Dutch government. So this was Mocienne Petit Jackson. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time on my YouTube video. And thank you so much for being a part in this journey, because I cannot wait till you know what, who, and what. It was Mocienne Petit Jackson. See you next time, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.